Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 795, we're going to talk about Dina's Soul Steeper. So we have got, excuse me, a black and a green for a Dryad Druid, 1/3. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Now, that's, you gain life. If you gain 5, they just lose the 1. It's each instance of life gain, not how much. And then 1, sack another creature, so we can't sack her. Dina gets plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. So there's 2 sides here. It's like you kind of want to play big creatures and you kind of want to gain some life. So I tried to, I'll admit, I've kind of focused heavily on the life gain aspect. So, but with Dina's, there are a lot of cards with similar abilities to Dina here. Whenever you gain life, opponent loses life. So we have Veto. Whenever you gain, target opponent loses. Marauding Blight Priest, same thing. Gain life, each opponent. Brackish Trudge. Oh, that's should have gone in a different category, but hey, it works. You can return it to your hand, activate only if you gain life this turn, so that can help pump up. It's the creature aspect. Honor Troll. A lot of this is Strixhaven based. If you gain life, gain that much plus 1 instead. That's not bad. And 25 or more life. This thing comes down as a 4/4 most of the time. Blood Researcher. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on it. Blood Bond Vampire. Same thing. Put a counter on it. Epicure of Blood. Each opponent loses when you gain. Sanguine Bond. Target opponent loses that much. Defiant Bloodlord. You gain, target opponent loses, of course. And then Ageless Entity works with both halves of Dina. It's really quite a beautiful card for the deck. Now, there are some cards. I do not have Exquisite, or the other half of the Blood Bond combo, because that thing is pricey nowadays. But then we have got our actual... Well, here, let's do the Strixhaven stuff, shall we? The Sproutback Trudge. The X is the amount of life you gained. That was a very common theme in the Strixhaven Commander decks. So, Fortifying Draught. Gain 2, and then, target creature gets plus X, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. So that can be a beast. As a Root Channeler, creature spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Now, this one could have been really, really, and then tapped, gain 2 life. So, Essence Pulse, gain 2, the opposite of the other one, and then Silver Smote. If you gain 3 or more life, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and then you can sack it, or you can sack it to Dina. So let's look at our actual life gain. We have the Prosperous Innkeeper. Another creature under your control, you gain a life. Witherbloom Apprentice. I do not have a Chain of Smog in here. I'll be honest with you, it didn't fit. I was going to put one in anyway just because of the silly combo, but I didn't have another one anyway. So I was like, well, good. That's keeping me in check from doing... By the way, when I listed this deck, this is a super budget version. The entire deck is $46.09 as of when I listed it a couple of days ago. So, not bad. Siphon Soul, of course, hits everybody. Loxodon Warhammer to turn any creature you got. Of course, there's the Vampire Nighthawk, the Great Merchant... Probably going to get you some life. Drain Life. Just a good old-fashioned... I mean, it's hard to stop the original, right? Pontiff of Blight. I feel obligated to explain the extort here. The Orzhov mana symbol is in reminder text, and that is not considered when determining a card's color identity. So that is why this card is allowed in a deck with no white, because its color identity is just black, not black-white. But, I mean, it's pretty good. Other creatures you control have extort. We have the Moldervine Reclamation. I'm trying. I put this card in decks, and I try. When it dies, you gain life and draw a card. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Doomgape, because why not? Sack a creature, gain life equal to that creature's toughness. We have Infused with Vitality. Target creature gets Death Touch, and when it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under. I love these cards because until end of turn, target creature gains Death Touch, and when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Love it. And of course, you gain 2 life. That last part just kind of stapled on there to make it fit the theme. And then we have Moldering Karok. Just a tramply, life-linky dude. A zombie crocodile. So let's look at our ramp real quick before we get into the random. Of course, we have Dark Ritual, Elves of Deep Shadow and Llanowar, Rampant Growth, Farseek, Explosive Vegetation as our spells, and then we get to our rocks. Had to do the Pristine Talisman, right? Because the whole thing is life gain. But then we have the Golgari Signet, Locket, Cluestone, and Keyrune, and then the Letter of Acceptance. I kind of like the Letter of Acceptance because you've got that card draw there if you need it. Speaking of card draw, there's the Rites of Flourishing. Knights was, boy, it was really hard for me not to say the other name. Sign in Blood and Read the Bones. So now let's get to the, I guess the other category is what I'm going to call it. Yeah, I know the Elixir of Immortality I probably could have put with the life gain section. We have Tend the Pest. Now, I could have gone really deep into the pest token thing. Create X 1/1 black and green pest tokens. When this creature dies, you gain a life. So, I mean, yeah, that's a thing I could have done. And, you know, it's not bad. There are, you know, a few in here. I think we may have already seen. I don't know. We have Witherbloom Command. I figured we're already like Super Witherbloom in the deck, right? Choose 2, they mill, you know, destroy, Maness, but target opponent loses 2 and you gain 2. That's, you know, and this is pretty cheap at 2 mana. We have Overrun, because, you know, dudes. Diabolic Tutor. Rushed Rebirth. Destroy, choose target creature. When that creature dies this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser mana value, put it on the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. There's 2 parts about this card that makes me love it. I love the fact that it's instant speed. And I also love the fact that it says target creature, not target creature you control. So when somebody else's creature is already about to die, you can just cast this on it. And then get a free creature out of the deal. I love it. We have Pestilent Cauldron. Here again, another pest maker. And then each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Mill is kind of an all-or-nothing strategy because you're either going all the way with it or you chance at making your opponent's decks better if they have any kind of graveyard access at all, which a lot of decks do. But exiling 4 target cards from a single graveyard, that's not bad. You can draw a card off of that one. So all 3 of these abilities, fairly decent. We have the Damogoth Titan. I mean, 11/10 for 4 mana. Attacks or blocks, you sacrifice a creature. We're hoping to have Pest for it. These last 2 creatures are for the... just because we want the big creatures for Dina, right? Vulture Zombie is one heck of a magic card. And I also love the fact that it's a plant zombie because it reminds me of the game Plants vs. Zombies. Anyway, whenever a card is put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, I love that line. Put a 1/1 counter on Vulture Zombie. So from anywhere, I mean, whether they're milling or discarding or stuff's dying or whatever, it's just going to get big. And then the Chris special here, I actually found, I picked up like 5 pre-release Heroes of Banes for the Lolo, and couldn't resist because these are permanent. You know, it's a +1/+1 counter, and it's a decent mana dump at the end of a turn when you have mana left over. It can be a win condition. I just love Heroes Bane, and, you know. So let's look at some removal. It ain't a whole lot. Have Acidic Slime, Back to Nature to just get rid of all of them. You know, Murder, Return to Nature, Mystic Repeal. Putting it on the bottom of the library is sometimes better than just destroying it, because if it's in the graveyard, they have better access to it than if it's at the bottom of their library. That's why I love Mystic Repeal. Putrefy, great card. Death Sprout, I call it Murder Growth, same thing, you know. This is an instant. I had it played on me last week, and I was like, that's an instant? Wow. And then Mortality Spear. Because, you know, it costs 2 less if you gain life this turn. There's a good chance that will have happened. Destroy non-land permanent for 2 is not bad. I mean, I'll pay the 4, to be honest with you. So let's look at our non-basic lands. We're going to start off with the Rogue's Passage because there's a possible win con here with Dina getting large and getting in there. Some cycling lands, you know, the Tranquil Thicket, Polluted Mire, the Search land, you know, the Jund Panorama, Terramorphic Expanse, or Expansion Terramorphica, the Command Tower. Field of Ruin is a thing. Y'all heard me say it a lot. You know, targeted land removal needs to happen. That way the things like, you know, the insane mana ramp of the Tomb and the Cradle, you know, you can check. And then the stuff like the Maze, and yeah, just, it needs to happen. And this one, the Field of Ruin, is super friendly because each player, so, hey guys, I'm going to destroy that threatening land, and we all benefit. You know, can maybe kind of get some table politics going. Then we have just random dual colors, you know, the Golgari Guildgate, Jungle Hollow, Tainted Wood, Woodland Chasm, Witherbloom Campus, and the Temple of Malady. And that is it for Dina. That's what I do with those art cards. Put them on the, if I've got them. You know, I don't like seek them out, but since apparently set boosters are here to stay, and it looks like they are here to just absolutely take over. Might as well use them, right? Anyway, this is $7.95. This is going to be a little snug. Yeah, I'm trying to use, if you'll notice, probably from here on out, for the rest of that row, those last 5 decks, I'm trying to use the older decks I've started on, simply because they're in the narrower deck box, so to make that thing work. Anyway, I do appreciate y'all watching, and thank you so much for all the kind words. But that's what we've got for today, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.